In this video, I'm going to teach you the graduated bob. This haircut starts off with 5 sections. So I do a basic 4-section parting. The only difference is that I'm sectioning out the fringe area or the bang area. So from the apex to the outside corners of the eye, I'm going to keep that out for now, and that's going to be the very last thing that we cut. Other than that, it's kind of just your basic 4 sections. For this haircut, you're going to start with the head in a downward position, and we're going to take diagonal partings. This is what I mean by a diagonal parting. I'm coming down this way and I'm not coming straight across. Can you do this straight across? Sure you can. But the way that I like to do it is I like to do it on a diagonal. Reason being, it makes it a little bit easier when you're grabbing your section. I can follow, I can put my fingers on that line and then I can cut. I'll know exactly what I need my finger angle to be because I've already made that angle with my parting. It looks like a pretty big section, and it is. I'm taking everything from the occipital bone down. The entire nape area I am going to cut. So I'm going to divide this in 2. And I'm looking at my diagonal line and I'm making sure I have that same diagonal line here. I'm going to go through at 0-degree elevation. I'm going to cut. Remember, don't cut past your knuckle, so I'm going to re-grab that hair. If you remember from when we talked about the blunt haircut, remember your left hand tends to relax really easy. So getting that left hand side in is quite easy. But what will happen is a lot of people end up going shorter on the right hand side because your hand doesn't want to naturally go that way. So you really have to watch and get that angle bang on. So I'm going to take that little piece, the first piece that I cut on that side, and I'm going to cut this way. Now I like to cut up when I'm cutting on this side. Again, there are more than one way to do things. This is the Amy way. You'll notice that my edges are a little bit frayed. Here's the reason. I'm cutting at a length where it's resting on the neck. My fingers have actually created some elevation underneath the hair. So by picking it up, even though my fingers were flat against the head, I still created that little bit of elevation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. When you're cutting this haircut and the length is right here at the neck, it's a good idea to come back through and actually freehand cut that nape area, just to make sure that you have a nice clean line. Now some people like to cut it freehand right from the beginning, and that's okay too. Whatever works. So your first section completed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tip our client's head up. Now watch what happens when I hold up this section. I have created a diagonal line. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Now, the only difference is here, I just want to make sure that I don't have any corners. So as I pull it up, there's a little bit of a corner right here. So let me just pull this out and show you. So there's our last piece, and we just have this little bit of a corner right in there. So I'm actually just going to go in and take it out. It's not very much. This is called polishing. When you take out that corner, you're going to take the next section beside it and you're going to direct it back to the center. You're going to over direct that back to the center, and you're going to do the same thing. And you can see that there's just a little tiny corner right there, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to take that out. Then I'm going to take this final section back to the center and little tiny corner, and I'm going to take that out. So I've already started that graduation. You can see how it's starting to tuck in for us. That's exactly what we're looking for. And you're going to create another diagonal section. You're going to be taking approximately 1 inch, but again, this is going to depend on the density of the hair. So if the hair is relatively thick, you might want to take them a little bit smaller, and if it's really thin, you might be able to take them a little bit bigger. So my next section is down, and you can see it's quite a bit longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the center section. I'm going to hold it out on that diagonal. Now you can see the line that I've already started. So what I want to do is I just want to continue that line. So I'm going to take the hair I'm going to angle my finger so that it matches with the angle that I've already started with. I want to have a nice rounded shape on the bottom. So I'm going to continue that finger angle and cut. Just make sure you don't cut past that first knuckle. Okay, I'm going to take my next section, and because I'm getting longer to the sides, I'm going to pull that back to the center. And now because I've made that cut, I already have a guide to follow. And I'm going to cut my next section. Again, I'm going to take it right back to the center. I can see the guide that I've created, and I'm going to cut. So now you can see we have this really nice shape forming on the bottom. This is exactly what we're looking for. As you're moving up into this section, remember about the growth patterns that we talked about before. You may want to do the center section last, so leave out this whole bit and do it at the very end, or just make sure you're not cutting that part with a lot of tension. Otherwise, you're going to have layers that bounce way up, way too far. So again, we're going to take that center section and I'm going to pull it out. Now, can you see this line that I've created? Now I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to cut that. Last section, right back to the center. Right back. And if you need a refresher on how to hold your scissors and comb, just check out this video right here and I'll walk you through it. Okay, last section on the top, and nothing is going to change. We're going to continue cutting the exact same way that we've been cutting the back thus far. I'm going to take that center section and we're going to cut. I hope you're finding value in this video. If so, please hit subscribe. As you're looking through these videos, if there's anything that you don't see that you would like to see, please leave it in the comments and I'd love to do a video on it for you. Okay, everybody, back is done. We have this beautiful, nice rounded shape coming through the back. Nice graduation, exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to move into this side. When you do this side section, you can probably just take down the whole thing. Again, it's going to depend on the density of the hair, whether or not you need to take several sections, as long as you can see your guide and it's not too much for you to hang on to. So right now, I kind of like the length that's happening in the front. There's not a lot that I want to take, but I will just take a little bit for the sake of taking a little bit. So what you want to do is you just want to follow that line that you've created in the back. So I'm going to just take a little bit. Now, when you're cutting a diagonal line on the side of the head, it can be a bit tricky to get both sides the same. So I've got a trick. The side that I cut, what I want to do is I want to cut this front piece on the other side to match it, okay? So I'm just gonna see where I need to be, and I'm gonna cut this so that it's exactly the same on both sides. Okay, I'm bang on. I'm exactly the same on both sides. Now when I go to do this side, I know that this is the length that I want to be, and I have to connect it here. So the easiest way to do that is to swing this section back, and look, there's my guide there. And now I have this little guide right here that's between my fingers because it's a piece that I already cut. And I'm just going to go in, I'm going to take this, this corner out. Knowing that that's the length that I need to be. So now I know I am bang on both sides. The next thing I'm going to show you is this fringe area or the bang area. Now the reason I leave that out, a couple reasons. One is a lot of people like to have some softness around their face, some bangs or just some layering. Other people don't. Regardless, I always leave this part out. Sometimes too there's cowlicks and things going on in there. So even if they did want it all the same length, leaving that section out and cutting it with a little bit of less tension is usually a good idea. So in this instance, she already has some bangs going on in there, some layering from a previous haircut. What I'm going to show you is a curtain bang. Now, curtain bangs have really taken off in popularity, and a lot of people that have this cut love to have a little bit of swag around their face. Here's how I like to do it. Now again, there are many ways to do curtain bangs. This is my way. So I have the section from the apex to the corner of the eyes, and I'm just going to take the piece right in the middle, and I'm going to cut it to the length that I'm looking to cut it. So if you've conversed with your client and they said, you know what, I'd like it to kind of start around my lips and then go through, I'm going to cut that first piece right around the lip. So I'm just going to cut right there. I am only using the fringe area. I am not going to touch the sides of the hair. This is cut. It's exactly the length that I wanted. I don't want to mess that up. I'm going to take this section, I'm going to hold it on a diagonal, I'm going to come in. When that piece falls out of my fingers, I'm going to come in and I'm going to slide cut. So I'm going to wiggle my shears back and forth quite lightly because I want this to reach the bottom of the section. Like so. Then I'm going to do the other side. Now for a right-handed person, this is going to be a little bit trickier to do this side. People have different methods of doing the left side. I just like to pull it toward me. I come with my arm up over and I can see where that piece is falling out. You can see that there, it's falling out, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to wiggle my scissors really lightly all the way down the strand until it falls out of my fingers. So now I've created this really nice soft curtain bang. Now we have to get into some customization and just some polish work and some finish work. So for the curtain bang, what I like to do, I like to take this center section and I like to pull it up, and you'll see that it kind of comes to a point, and I just like to go in and I like to point cut that out. Okay, and then I'll take the side here and I bring it to the center. Remember, by bringing something to the center, I'm over directing, so I'm getting longer as I go. So there's that point again. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to take this side to the center, and I'm going to point that out. We didn't really put a lot of elevation in around the bottom, so we have layers going on here and not a lot here. Something you can do is you can tilt the head away from you while you're cutting, and this will create a little bit on the bottom. The other thing that you can do, and I like to do this anyway, is I like to take all my sections now from the front and I like to pull them to the back. What I like to do is I like to make sure that I don't have any hair here that when it falls back, when the wind blows, is going to be longer, okay? And I also just like to kind of take this and I point cut into it. So it's just going to break up that line. Okay? So I'm going to take my next section, I'm going to take it back. When you point cut, try to cut on the way out. So as I close my scissors, I'm pulling out. So I'm not going to go in and cut. I'm going to go in and then I'm going to cut on the way out. Okay, this will protect your fingers. So there we have it, the graduated bob with a bonus curtain bang. I know you learned something today, so keep practicing and have a great hair day.